What is up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, coming at you from the Walmart Distribution Center in Cleburne, Texas. They got me a door right away, so chances are I'm probably not going to pick up any of that detention pay on this load, but you can't win them all. I already got pre-planned on my next load, which is going to be a load going from Sunnyvale, Texas to Jonesboro, Arkansas, which I think is setting me up to go to the terminal to handle some things before I go on home time. Now, I've been out since I don't know, the third week of October, which is entirely too long for me. So long to where I am hating being in this damn truck. I mean, literally, I'm hating being in this truck. Now, I don't hate the truck. Listen, how could you hate a truck that has these heated Corinthian leather seats? You know what I'm saying? Seat so warm, makes you feel like a kid peeing in a pool again. But, man, this is just too much time. So, reason I want to do this video, somebody was asking how long do they need to stay out if they plan on leasing with Prime. And really, that's hard to say. It has a lot to do with what's going on in your life, things like that. Personally, what I like to do is run about 5 weeks, maybe 5.5 weeks, and then come back and take like 8 to 11 days off at home, maybe 12. This time when I go home, I'm going to take off so much time, they're going to need to send me back through training. I'm going to take off minimum 17 days. So that's coming up here shortly. But how I came up with the 5.5 weeks or 5.5 weeks is that I tried doing a month, taking a month off and then coming home for a week. And it just seemed like, and this would all depend on where you live at as well, it just seemed like I was losing about 2 days getting home and 2 days coming out from home. You know, it seemed like I was getting forced loads or something like that, or it's hard for me to really explain, but after doing it a couple times, I figured 5 was going to be my magic number, and that's kind of what I roll with. It usually works out to where when I come out of home time, I'm like maybe, well, it kind of depends on how the paydays fall. I might be in the hole maybe like 12, 13, $1,400, somewhere in that neighborhood. And when I say in the hole, that doesn't mean I'm in the hole. You know, that just means I'm in the hole for if they haven't taken it out of my emergency fund. So that's one thing that I would suggest, that, you know, you could do it on your own and set the money aside in your own bank account, stuff like that. I like to have it kind of separated out a little bit to where my emergency fund is totally outside of any of my bank accounts. But what I do as far as my emergency fund goes is I put 20 cents a mile in my emergency fund. So let's see, I got this truck mid-September. I think it was September 13th. I don't think I left out with a load until about the 17th or 18th. So in that amount of time, you know, I don't know if you can see that or not, but we got about $7,500 in that emergency fund. So that's money that you don't even think about. So I'm going to suggest anybody that does it, you know, goes lease, sets aside some money, you know, to take home time. You know, don't feel like you need to get trapped to this truck. I mean, I'm staying out. I stayed out a little bit longer this time just because I needed to, you know, I had teamed for a little bit with my co-driver. Took him home for the last, you know, for our last run, which got me home sometime in October. Then as soon as I left out, then they started talking about wanting to have more trucks out over Thanksgiving. So to help out, I did that. And then shortly after that, they started talking about, you know, December, and throwing out a Christmas bonus and stuff like that if you stayed out. And I really You know, you might have heard other YouTube channels talking about the Christmas bonus. I didn't look at that $600 that they were given as extra money, because a lot of times that $600 is going to really just offset the lack of loads that you may have got during that time. But this particular run, I mean, I've been running nonstop. This might be one of my best months at Prime. So I was going to stay out, get the Christmas bonus, spread the love with some people at the Springfield terminal, and that's the reason I did that. And I was going to take off a ton of time. Let's get back to the point. So how much time you take off really has everything to do with how often do you need to be home. Do you have somebody at home? Like my wife, I'm sure she's not really appreciating this amount of time that I'm staying out right now, but do you need to be home for any reason like that? There's people that are staying out here months and months and months at a time. Look at my little 2.5 months or however long I've been out, and don't think anything of it. But that's the first thing. How often do you need to be home? And how much money do you have set aside? You do not want to be in a situation where you're always chasing to pay back any negative balances that you have in your account. I personally don't see how you would be able to go that negative in it, but I've seen it, other drivers have it happen. So there's really no clear-cut answer as to how much time you should take off. That's, again, a personal situation. But I know that didn't quite answer the question, but I would say that the typical lease person is going to want to stay out at least a month. I also know that there are some people that are going home when they're in the negative, and to me that doesn't really make any sense either. But just checking out a text my wife just sent. But anyway, what I'm going to suggest is you run, if you're just new coming into Prime or new into leasing, and this could be with any company, whatever, I would say start off with whatever the maximum amount of time is that you can for your first run, and then kind of adjust things from there. At least have some money set aside before you start going home. And I'm talking about, I probably have at least, if you go out 5 weeks, you should be able to set aside, $400 a week in your emergency fund minimum. Usually that would be around $500, but come back when you have like $3,000. Go back home when you have like $3,000 in your emergency fund, and $1,500 of that will be going to cover any fixed costs or fuel or something like that you got on the way in, and then you would still have a little bit to build on when you come back out. Again, that's really a hard question to answer, but like I said, I'm 5 weeks out, 8 to 12 days home. So hope that helped a little bit. And again, I do appreciate you guys stopping by. I know WHILYV Trucking and Transportation. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.